Does it feel like you should have almost fought her already? I mean, you guys have had been in this game so long. You have that history on Fight Girls.
Yeah.
It almost feels like Waterson versus Herrick happened like 5 years ago already.
You know, we were supposed to fight. Obviously, when we were on Fight Girls, not, because I was in a different weight class, and then even, you know, when she was with Bellator and I was with Invicta, still not, because I was in a different weight class. But always keeping my eye on people in that strawweight division, especially when they opened up the division in the UFC. And yeah, we were also slated to fight before I fought Paige. So I knew it was going to happen eventually. So always, you know, studying her, watching her, keeping a close eye on her anytime she fought. But basically, all the girls in the division, I keep an eye on. So you're going to end up fighting all of them one way or another.
Does it feel like you guys are almost pioneers for the lighter women's weight classes in a way?
I would definitely like to say so. You know, Felice and I have been around for a very long time. Not very many people even know about that reality show, Fight Girls, and when Gina Carano was the one leading the charge, and there was still a heavier scene in the Muay Thai. So, yeah, for sure, I think that Felice and I both have led the charge as far as being in the game for as long as we have, and still being hungry to still be in the game, and to grow and evolve, and to be here in the top 10, to be fighting on one of the most historic fights in the UFC on the pay-per-view card. Yes, we are pioneers.
So how do you approach this fight? Because a lot of people think of Felice as a grappler, but she started out as a kickboxer and really seems to be integrating everything so well these days. So where's the weak spot?
I think the same could be said about me. Yes, I'm the karate hottie, but I've won the majority of my fights by submission. So I think you have to approach this fight with an open mindset. You have to be able to take the fight wherever it goes. If it ends up staying standing, I have to be comfortable with that. If I want to take it to the ground, I'm comfortable with that too. I've seen the fight 1,000 times in my mind, and I've won 1,000 different ways, so I'm comfortable with it going wherever it does go.
She's a pretty physical woman, a strong woman. I know you used to fight lighter, so have you done more, you know, muscle mass building to try to compete a little more? Because I know that's something that Angela has had an issue with. Some of the girls were just bigger and stronger, and it's been an issue. You
know, I thought that for a while that's what I needed to do, coming up from atom weight, going up to straw weight, but physical strength has never been my strength. My strength is my speed. My strength is my finesse, my understanding of range, my ability to capitalize on openings. So I'm focusing on my strengths. And after fighting Courtney Casey, who is one of the other bigger girls in the UFC, I would say one of the biggest girls in the UFC, who has a power punch, I come away from that fight with confidence, to know that I'm equipped to fight the bigger girls in the UFC.
So going into that Casey fight, you were on a 2-fight skid. What were your thoughts going into that? How much of a relief was that to win that one? How, you know, what did it do for your confidence? It took a while for me, but I took those losses as stepping stones, really. You know, in a lot of other sports, wins, they come and they go and people forget about them. But in fighting, your losses, they follow you, and it can definitely change the trajectory of your career. I knew that it was important for the win, but it was more important for me to go out there and to enjoy what I was doing, to be a fighter, and to remember why I chose this path, because there are plenty of other things that I could be doing, but I chose to be a fighter because of the journey that it takes me on, because of the person that it makes me win or lose, because I continue to grow and evolve as a martial artist. And going into that fight against Courtney Casey and just enjoying what I was doing and being able to perform in front of a crowd, doing what I love to do, and to be able to utilize the things that I learned in training camp during the fight was gratifying, and I take that in with me when this Saturday.
Is this fight almost a chance for you to look back and reflect on not only where your career has come, but also where women's MMA has come? Because you guys had that start back in 2006 on Fight Girls, and now here we are in 2018, you're fighting Felice. You guys are, you know, both top talents. And could you have imagined back then that you'd be where you are now?
You know, back then, I remember having a vision board in my apartment, and one of my dreams was to be fighting for the UFC. And then at that moment, Dana was like, absolutely no way females should even belong in the cage, and here we are now. So to me, yeah, it's definitely a good omen. Fighting on UFC 229, it's actually full circle again, because my UFC debut was the day after Conor Mendez, so another good omen for me. So I'm just going into the week with a bunch of good vibes, knowing that I had a wonderful, amazing camp, and excited to just go in there and put some hands on Felice.
You've mentioned a few times, you know, just the magnitude of the week, and it seems like being a part of this show means a lot to you. Do you feel like being on the pay-per-view means the promotion has faith in you, or how are you kind of approaching this?
I'm approaching it as any other fight, I guess. I prepared to fight Felice, no matter where it was going to be. I know that at the end of the day, when the cage closes behind us, it's going to be her and I in the cage, and that's all that I can control. The only thing that I can control is myself, and so that's what I'm going to do, is control myself and use all of the energy that I take from all of you and all the fans, and transfer it into energy for my fight.
There's a little bit of drama at your gym recently. When Cowboy went on Joe Rogan's show and said these things about the gym and about Mike Wigglejohn. What was your reaction to what he was saying?
All I can say is that's family. You know, families get into fights sometimes, and unfortunately this fight got aired out a little bit to the public, and I love and respect both Cowboy and Donald and Coach Wink immensely. You know, I wouldn't have been at Jackson's if it wasn't for Donald. He's the one that introduced me to Coach Jackson and Coach Wink, and I wouldn't be here in my career if it wasn't for Coach Wink. He's been in my corner for almost over a decade, and he's a father figure to me. Both men are very headstrong, and they're very like-minded, and I'm sure that they will figure out their issues.
Do you feel like the gym has changed over the years?
Yeah, it has to, right? If it doesn't, then you're not evolving, you're not growing. It's inevitable. Evolution is inevitable. Change is inevitable. If there is no change, you don't grow. So yes, I do think it's changed, but I don't think it's changed for the worse. I think it's changed for the good. We have new blood. We have great camaraderie. It's still family to me. You know, I go there when I'm feeling down, when I need to get away from all the outside noise. The gym is my home. You know, it's my sanctuary.
There was no distraction for you coming into this fight because of that?
No, like I said, I care for both men, and they're both very supportive for me in this upcoming fight, and it is what it is.
What do you make of the state of the division right now? Rose doesn't have a challenger. Who do you think should be next?
I think Andrade did a pretty good job at showing a deserving spot against Rose, and yeah, I really honestly think I had the division figured out, and then and then all these fights happened, right? Carla fought Tatiana, and Tatiana Suarez, and then Andrade fighting Carolina, and then Joanna moving up to 25. So really within this last month, the strawweight division has really been shooken up, which is great for me because it gives more openings for me to move up the rankings and more opportunity, and I'm excited to use this fight to propel me up the ladder.
Yeah, a lot of people look at Tatiana and think of her as a future champion. Is that someone you would like to fight? Because she's trying to climb the ranks, and she's trying to take out established names that could give her better positioning.
I'd like to fight whoever I need to get to the top. And so the UFC is doing a wonderful job of bringing new girls in who a lot of people don't know, but these girls are monsters, and they're not coming in with some weak records. They're coming in 15-0, 16-0 from all around the world, and they're serious MMA fighters with technically sound skills, not just in certain sports, but they're well-rounded girls. So I think it's important as a top 10 fighter to keep an eye out for all the girls in the top 10, but also to keep an eye out for all the girls underneath and the girls that the UFC are signing. I mean, everybody's hungry for that #1 spot.
In the immediate aftermath of the Conor McGregor bus attack back in April, you expressed some concerns that if nothing happened to him, if there was no discipline on him, that other fighters may do similar crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So now you're in a position where you're on the same card as McGregor. Do you still have the same feelings about that? And there really was not much of a punishment, to be honest.
Let's be honest.
Keep it real.
You know, Conor's Conor, and he's gonna do what he's gonna do, and the only concern that I have is with my daughter, and as long as I keep her safe, then I think it'll be fine. I do think that Conor knows that it got a bit, it went a bit overboard, and he's still going to be who he is, but I do feel like now there are precautions put in place so nothing crazy happens. Obviously the press conference was closed to the public, and so we'll see what happens in Vegas.
But the one on Thursday is not.
The one on Thursday is not. I don't think Conor's gonna do anything crazy. I don't I should wear a helmet. I need a helmet for the press conference. No, I honestly, it is crazy because I do think that there were a lot of innocent fighters that were affected in everything that happened in the bus situation. But on the same token, it's like there's so many people intrigued and tuning in to see what Conor does, because that is just what Conor does. He, like, even on the press conference, I couldn't help but be captured by Conor and how well he was able to entertain me. You know, it was highly entertaining, and that's what he does for the UFC. That's what he does for his own brand, and he's just very good at doing so. I just hope that, you know, in the future he doesn't make it a point to affect other people.
You come from a very traditional martial arts background, but MMA is a very different type of landscape.
Yes.
Are these things something that we just have to like accept about MMA, that it's kind of about promotion and crazy things do sell pay-per-views? Yeah,
I mean, it's at the end of the day, it is entertainment. You have to be able to be the whole package, and that's what something my husband and I were talking about when they talk about, you know, when Dana White says that Conor is a complete package. He's not talking just about his fighting skills. He's talking about his ability to sell fights, his fighting skills, his ability to have that mental warfare, his ability to do all the media and still be as sharp as he is stepping into the octagon. That's hard to do. And so I look up to him in that sense. And I do think at the core of Conor's heart, he is a martial artist, but he pushes the envelope. You know, he pushes the envelope, and that's why everybody's tuning in this weekend, is to watch him.
You also like to entertain, but not in the same way that Conor does. The Holly video with the
yes.
Yeah, that was so cute.
Is there room in MMA to entertain the audience in a different way than throwing dollies at buses, do you think?
100%, and that's why, in my opinion, MMA and the UFC is so popular, because you get to associate the fighter with who they are and their story, and the UFC allows each individual fighter to grow their brand the way they want to. And for me, I'm not a shit talker. I'm not good at it, but I still can relate. You know, I am a mother. I am a wife. I am a fighter, and I enjoy being silly, and I have a martial arts background, and there are plenty of people in this world that can relate to me that won't necessarily relate to Connor. So there's somebody for everybody, I guess.
So we're talking about entertainment. Obviously, we're here in Hollywood. You're with William Morris, right? So are you going to be getting any, other opportunities? Are you going to be looking to do some film? What kind of things are you looking to do?
I would love to do film. I think it's another avenue that I think that I would be good at, something that I could explore, especially with my martial arts background. And I did do theater growing up, and I think that it's something that has always piqued my curiosity. Again, pushing the envelope in my own way, going outside of my comfort zone, and really doing something that I enjoy, entertaining. I have fun doing that kind of stuff. So yeah, whatever doors open, I'm definitely open to it. Action stars, Kill Bill, Chung-Li.
Have you gone out for auditions for that kind of stuff?
Well, I have here and there, but my right now when I'm in camp, they know to let me train. So after this fight, we'll hit it hard.
Do you think that could be a possible future career once the MMA is done?
Of course I do. Like I said, before I fought, I did martial arts, and it was the more artistic side of it, where you did like the wushu and the cool tricks and flips and all of the superhero stuff that you see with Mortal Kombat and Ninja Turtles and all that stuff. That's all the stuff that I loved and enjoyed doing. So it would translate over really well.
Until then, just more videos with Holly.
Until then, yeah. Until then, me and Holly are gonna do the level up challenge.
It was good. You guys did a great job.
Oh my gosh, it was so hard. We were planning on doing it outside, and it ended up not happening because we needed to see Sierra dancing in front of us so we can copy while we were.
So it wasn't choreographed? You guys didn't practice it before?
Well, we practiced, but we're not on that level.
Yeah.
We were trying to level up. We couldn't level up that much.
How many views did that get?
All of them?
A lot. My Instagram jumped up like 20K.
Yeah.
20,000.
20K.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad.
They're not mad at you.
Maybe you and Felice at Wayne's can do like a little level up.
Oh no.
I don't know if Felice would be down for that. That's a hard it was really hard to choreograph that. I mean, the 8 count was crazy.